The one area that we should be aware of, I've said a few comments about the US, is the commodity price trend. The picture still doesn't look too good, except for gold. Gold is doing okay. We expect gold to continue at these kind of levels, even up to $2,500 US per ounce, so slightly higher. Why? Because it responds to uncertainties. They say if you hear sounds of a gun or blood in the streets, don't think either you run or you buy gold. So either of the two, with either of the two, you'll be okay in the case of uncertainty. So the gold price goes up when there's strife around the world, when there's increased uncertainty. It's a natural uncertainty hedge. But we can't say the same thing about other minerals that we export. If you look at, for instance, lithium hydroxide, if you go just to the bottom of that slide, it's easier here, right there. Let me do this. This is the lithium hydroxide price. Look at how it is trending down. You look at the, for instance, the price of lithium and platinum and palladium. You can see the platinum price is quite flat. It's been flat. Palladium did that, it's come all the way back. Yeah. You see again the nickel, similar story. The rhodium, similar story. Boom. Yeah. We expect this year our economy to recover, to grow at 6% of GDP. Someone was asking, said, Minister, are you sure the rains were late? The crops looks good, colleagues. It really looks good. And we expect again our deficit to go the order of minus 0.4% of GDP. We expect a budget deficit of less than 1%. We're very, very strict on living within our means. There'll be a lot of detail on the macro framework. I'm going to leave that, keep going. And our priority areas, we care about our civil servants. Colleagues, we now have a situation where government is doing better at paying its workers than the private sector. Whenever we say that is government, no one believes us. But civil servants are now beginning to do better than the private sector. The private sector last year struggled to pay bonuses. I why? They couldn't afford it. We are also aware of the pressure that the private sector faces. So I want to say to civil servants, it's always good to look after your employees. We're not doing too badly, colleagues. We're not doing too bad for any civil servant in the room. We also want to support the acquisition of skills by investing in VTCs, workspaces for the SMEs, infrastructure development. But for infrastructure, let me say this. We have learned a lot from the BOT or PPP arrangement for the Plumtree, Bulawayo, Harare, Mutare Highway. It works. It's well maintained. It is a PPP. So we have to put Bybridge, Bulawayo, Vic Falls Road on a PPP arrangement, and we're in negotiations. The Bybridge, Harare, Chirundu has to eventually go back to PPP. So there, what we'll do, if Dr. Sakala, if you want the road, we'll sell it to you for $1 billion. So it's yours on a 25-year concession basis. You put up your toll roads, your toll gates rather, collect over 25 years, get your money back. But you pay us our $1 billion now, recover what we already spent as government, then use that $1 billion elsewhere. It's called asset recycling. So we're very keen on this model. That for the major roads, let's make sure the private sector is involved. We share the burden. And as government, then we can focus working with the city councils on the urban roads, shorter urban roads, and then the rural roads. We care about investing in the health sector, hospitals, the railway infrastructure. You will see a lot of progress with NRZ this year into next year, now frozen on Mutapa, rehabilitation of both wagons, fixed rail, and also the rolling stock. If the economy is not growing, it cannot export that much, and this is in US dollars. If you look at imports, again, you have a similar picture. Look at 2019 at 4.5 billion, We're now importing for 9.3 billion. Who is importing? The businesses in here, the individuals in here. You cannot import this amount of imports if you are not growing in terms of your income. Just because you're experiencing growth, that's why you have capacity to import. So the economy is growing, period. You look at the state of the current account. I do not remember this happening in a country like Zimbabwe with its economic structure, or in the history of this country, that we have 6 straight years in a row with the current account surplus. Never had of it. We've never had such a period before. Yeah. And then you look at the public finances, and again here we've worked very hard in the last 6 years to really live within our means. Budget deficit not going above 2% of GDP. Most countries would kill for that. And we're still, paying for our roads. Yes, some contractors have not yet been paid. I'm aware you'll get paid. So we're a developing country, so we have to stretch the envelope quite a bit, but we've tried hard to live within our means, and I think we've done quite well at that. I've got figures here of how much we raised in 2024. I'll skip that, you can read that at your own time. Maybe you're more interested in the debt situation. Again, on our stock of debt, we've spent 1.1 billion, all our debt, domestic and foreign. And let me tell you this, can someone do a quick calculation? Yourself, not me. Just take a conservative GDP figure of 35 billion and divide it into 21.1 billion. What percentage is that? What's the debt to GDP ratio? Anybody? 60%. So our debt to GDP ratio is 60%. It's not bad. Of course, if it was 10%, that would be very good, right? But it's not bad. So Zimbabwe's problem is not the size of the debt relative to the size of the economy. It's about the liquidity.